day, folks. In this lesson, we're going to go over how to add a prop and then how to apply a script to it. So not that bad. We're also going to go ahead and create sort of what's called a folder. So it acts like a folder. So, okay, so let's get started here. So in our hierarchy, I'd like you to go ahead and do a right click or a control click and then just say create empty. And then we're going to go ahead, and this is not going to be a game object that actually is going to have anything. This is instead going to contain a bunch of different game objects. So I'm going to go ahead and just where it says game object over here, I'm going to just say, I'm going to call this added props. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is in our mod resources folder, and then in the sprites folder, and then props. You see there's a bunch of built-in props that we can add to this sort of level that will not affect like the player. It's all sort of just decorative objects. We're going to get more into this in a subsequent lesson, but just as an example, we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to add let's add a good old-fashioned mushroom. So I just clicked and dragged. I just put it here. And then if I look at my game, I can sort of see that's where it's going to go. Now, I've got this mushroom object. I'm going to go ahead and click and drag it up to where that empty game object I created initially called added props. And you see here now I've got a button. I can sort of expand, that kind of fun stuff. Okay. So what I have here is just a sprite, and I can add, a crystal to whatever. We'll put it over here. Cool crystal, bro. And we can just add that to just where it says like added props. Okay. So now the title of this lesson is animations. We're going to be adding a script that's going to jiggle these props. Basically give them just a little bit of like a back and forth movement. So if we go ahead to our scripts folder, okay, and in the scripts folder we've got some different things that sort of are used for the actual gameplay. So instead of this scripts folder, we're actually going to go to the scripts folder in the mod resources. I got a bit turned around there. Sorry, folks. So where it says scripts, it's going to be the one under the mod resources folder. And then we go to platformer. And there's a number of scripts here that we'll be working with later on, but we're going to be working with the jiggler. So we can go ahead. I'm going to click and drag the jiggler to the mushroom and the crystal props that I use. So I click and drag to mushroom, click and drag to crystal. Now what that does is if I go to mushroom, I've got some components here. There's the sprite renderer, which is that takes the image of the mushroom and puts it on the screen. And then I've got sort of a transformation that'll adjust the size. Now this is the interesting thing here. The jiggler script is going to be what you can sort of play with that's going to increase the kind of like the back and forth nature of this. So I'm going to go ahead and just dial that up. I'm going to play the game so we can see what it looks like, and I'm just going to turn down my volume so it's not super loud. Okay, so you see here kind of some big movement there versus the crystal kind of like subdued. So one thing you can do too is while you're playing the game, if you want to see something without these changes being saved, I can go ahead and just adjust these, and you see okay. So there's just some things you can do. So play around with that, and yeah, I wish you the best of luck. Great stuff.